some people turn to sexting to try to spice up their relationship, but a new study says those sexy snaps could be doing more harm than good and may actually mean your partner is more likely to cheat. So this study by the University of Alberta examined a sample of 615 Canadian and American adults, all of whom are in relationships, asked them if and how often they sext. Individuals were divided into 4 groups: non-sexters, word-only sexters, frequent, and, like Drew, hyper-sexters.
I'm just making up for the fact that I didn't grow up with computers and cell phones.
You caught it real fast.
Well, you know.
I think it's important to note that just because you're a hyper-sexter doesn't mean you're going to cheat. But frequent sexting, 3 to 4 racy messages a week. Drew, what does it mean to be a hyper-sexter? Are you doing like 10 a day?
I don't sex.
Travis is trying to call you out.
You know,
a little bit.
I sexted a little bit with my wife, just like to try it out to see how.
Did you like it?
It was okay for me. She goes, dude, you're done. Like this is funny.
So
I know what you look like. I know what you're gonna look like when you come home, so not necessarily.
Your wife is so awesome. But in this study, the hyper-sexters were sending really 1, maybe more per day.
Yeah.
Of we're talking about pictures, racy pictures. What was interesting is they had the highest levels of sexual satisfaction in the relationship. Good stuff, right? Yeah. But they were more ambivalent about their relationship. They were less secure in their relationship and less committed to the relationship and more likely to cheat.
Yeah.
Oh, say it isn't so, because the first part sounds great. Okay, more sexual satisfaction maybe, but
right.
So what's going on here?
It's because when people do this frequent sexting, the theory is that they're trying to take a shortcut to some of the most exciting and stimulating parts of the relationship without the time to build, like building your beautiful 36-year-long relationship. I mean, there's a lot of things in here, right? So you gotta keep it interesting, but sexting can't be the way, because what it mimics is the way that drugs respond to your brain. So it spikes that dopamine super fast, so it kind of encourages that addictive feeling. And then also with addictions, there's sort of a self-soothing type of a mentality. So you get a little anxious before you send a sext. And then to kind of calm down from that, you might do stuff that's actually a little harmful, like maybe drink some alcohol.
Sounds like you've done this before.
Like you, I've also tried some sexting. It doesn't really do it for me and my husband. We see each other every day. We're good. We know what each other looks like.
But is the reality in most successful committed relationships that maybe they don't need the sexting because they're so secure in their relationship and they still may have hot sex, so to speak?
Of course.
But it's. I mean, I want
cell phones. I mean, your parents grew up without cell phones. My parents grew up without cell phones.
Yeah.
My wife and I dated, 20 years we went without cell phones, so.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, this study, if it proves correct, if you're in a relationship and there's a ton of sexting going on and it continues to go on.
And there's nothing else.
It has to be a bit of a warning sign at this stage then. And it's unfortunate because we've had fun with it on our show. Hey, have fun, send a little flirty. I mean, all sexting it's not necessarily some super scandalous thing. I mean, it's kind of flirty messages.
It has to be combined with something else. Like if they just want to sext you, but they don't know your favorite color, or they don't know what you like to eat, like there has to be more.
You know what I do? It's like, what's for dinner? I hope I get that for dessert.
There's more to it.
That's a good one.
See, that's a really good one.
It is, and I would say, sometimes.
Can I borrow it? I will.
Use it.
Absolutely.
But sometimes there's like person A wants to sext and person B doesn't, and then person B will do it just to satisfy person A. But you have to remember that sometimes relationships end and people will share the photos.
Yes.
And then if you're dealing with somebody who is more likely to cheat, then that probability kind of goes up. So
such a good point.
Keep that in mind. I don't want my body parts like in the cloud. Like that's just me though.
We don't, no, I think that's not just you. I think it's everybody. So we got to find other ways, I think, to keep our relationships interesting.
And you can.
Just be through sex.
And you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.